Okay, so let's talk more about ADHD management and being easily distracted. So, we're going to be talking about a lot in this video. So, I have created a Google Drive that's going to have a plethora of resources specifically about the things that I'm covering, just so you can see it, get it in front of you in case, listening to me talk about it isn't as helpful. In the Google Drive, there's going to be resource documents that you can download, and it's going to have little tips and tricks in case you struggle with dealing with any of these kind of elements in your human design chart. So that link will be in the description if you are interested. So we're continuing our deep dive into ADHD, and again, I will link Karen Curry Parker's original video down below in the description box. But today we're going to be talking about the characteristic of people who are diagnosed with ADHD of being easily distracted, right? Or being unable to focus. So there's a few different elements that she mentioned in that video, which is what we're going to cover here. If you are new, hello, my name is Ebony. I'm a human design reader, expert, and coach. So let's start with the open crown center and the open ajna. So the crown center is the center for inspiration, right? It's the center for ideas. It's also the center of questions, right? The Ajna Center is our belief. It houses our points of view, right? Our beliefs, our opinions, our perspectives. This is the head area, right? So the crown and the Ajna together, that's, the top part of our body graph. Now, the analogy that I like to use for the open crown and Ajna Center, it's like a freeway, right? You have different cars, they're going opposite directions, right? Everything's flowing, like there's no traffic or anything, right? Everybody's just flowing, right? In and out. That's the open crown and the open ajna. Ideas, inspiration, questions, just driving down the highway of your open crown. Same with the open ajna. All kinds of beliefs and perspectives and points of views and opinions, just 405. 405 10 freeway, in the head area, right? The reason why this can cause distraction, right, or an inability to focus is because there's constantly something going in and out of your brain, right? It's like, oh, look at that thought. Oh, what about that thought, right? So if you're the highway patrol and you're sitting on the shoulder watching all of these cars, watching all of these ideas, watching all of these beliefs just kind of go, back and forth down this busy highway, it's just like, oh my God, look at all this shit. Right? It's like this, there's so much to see. There's so many things to think about and contemplate, right? So this idea of being easily distracted is because there's so much going on. There's constant activity in your head. And when you're out of alignment with your crown and your ajna center, that's when you get sucked into every single idea or every single belief that's coming out of that's in your head, essentially. Can you imagine if there was one police car trying to stop every single car on the freeway? That would be madness. It'd be ridiculous. It'd be impossible. But that's exactly what we do. I say we because I have both an undefined crown and an undefined ajna, okay? But that's what happens with people who are undefined in these areas and they don't know how to stop it. They don't know how to kind of just surrender to their thoughts. They're trying to stop every single one. They're trying to stop every car on the road and give them a ticket. Right? So when we get to, this idea of being easily distracted, it's because they just don't know how to handle it, right? They don't know. No one teaches us how to just surrender to our thoughts. Nobody teaches us how to just watch our thoughts, right? There was a huge meditation boom a few years ago because it was just like, oh my God, this is revolutionary, right? We don't have to give merit to every single thought in our head. Who knew? Right? Which is why meditation, I think, is a really good idea for anyone who has an open crown, an open or undefined crown, or an open or undefined ajna center. So that is that's those two, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's move down to the 3 line and the 6 line. Okay, so we're talking 3 5s, we're talking 6 2s, we're talking 3 6s, we're talking 6 3s, right? If you have a 3 or a 6 line, wow, if you have a 3 or a 6 line in your profile, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you may also fall into this category of being easily distracted because a big part of your process is experimentation. it's trial and error, it's experience, right? It's movement. So if your 3 line is a conscious line, so if you're a 3-6 or a 3-5, consciously, you need that experience. You need experience for things. Your profile is always going to push you towards experiencing something. That's all the 3 line wants to do, is experience and experiment, right? So if you're doing something, if you're talking to someone, if you're working on a project, and something else comes into your awareness, that 3 line's gonna be like, I want to experience that, and I want to experience it right now. So then it's like, oh, well, guess I gotta go over here. And now you're easily distracted. But it's because that is how your 3 line learns. That is how your 3 line understands the world. That's how your 3 line is able to put things into perspective, is through experience, right? Now, if your 3 line is unconscious, right? So if you're a 6-3 or a 1-3, yes, oh my God, brain fart. So if your 3 line is unconscious, so you're a 6-3 or a 1-3, yes, oh my God. Wait a minute. Yes, okay, if your 3 line is unconscious, you're a 6-3 or a 1-3, then part of how you anchor into your body is through movement. It's moving your body, right? So sitting still, doing one thing for a very long period of time is probably not going to be something that you want to do, or something that's easy for you to do, because again, you have this 3 line that wants to move. It wants to get this energy flowing. The 3 line is all about energy and experience. Now, why are we including the 6 in this? Because for the first 30 years of your life, the 6 line operates as a 3 line. So if you have a 6 somewhere in your profile, for the first 30 years, you're a 3 line, right? And then you move into that hermit stage, and then you move into your 6 line, into that role model. But for the first 30 years, you're all 3 line, right? So if you're a 3-6 or a 6-3, you're a double 3 for the first 30 years of your life. So it's movement, it's experience, it's experimentation. So we get this label or this idea of being easily distracted because how you anchor down, how you learn, how you put things into perspective, how you view the world is through your experience. It's through movement, right? And since not everyone in the world operates in that way, to them, you're going to look as though you are easily distracted or you can't focus on one thing, and that's not what it is. Yeah? Okay. I hope that made sense. I don't know where, look, the highway of my open crown we had a full-on collision, but it's fine. Anyway, next we're going to talk about gate 41, okay? And gate 41 is the gate of fantasy. The shadow of this gate specifically is fantasy. It's actually the gate of imagination and creation, because the people who have this gate defined, they are able to have very vivid visions, not like hallucinations or anything like that, but they are able to see things so clearly that they're then able to bring those things into the physical world. So this is about taking action, because gate 41 is in the root center. So it's taking action on your imaginations. It's taking action on the things that you see in your head. Bringing these pictures, these images, these ideas, these creative urges, bringing them out of here and bringing them into the physical. That's what gate 41 does. It's taking action on your imagination, on your creation, to bring new things into the world, right? However, when you're caught in the shadow, when you're caught in fantasy, the action part isn't happening. You're just in your head. You're up in the clouds. You lose all sense of groundedness. And you're just living in a fantasy world. So if you're in a situation with someone and they're trying to talk to you, or they're trying to get you to do something, and you're up here, you're in the clouds, you're living in your imagination, right? Now you've got this label of being easily distracted. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You're just in a shadow frequency of one of your most powerful gifts. So it's not that you are not able to bring these visions into reality, because you are uniquely designed to do exactly that. But has anyone ever taught you how? Has anyone ever taken the time to say, okay, look, you have these visions, you have these things inside of you that want to be birthed. Let's cultivate that. Let's teach you how to, yes, spend time in your imagination, because that's where it starts, but then anchor down, ground onto the physical plane, so you can then take physical steps to make that a reality, to bring it out of your head and into the 3D world. Has anyone ever taught you how to do that? My guess would be no. So instead, they say you're easily distracted, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I will be doing a full video on Gate 41 very soon, so stay tuned for that. Next, we're going to talk about the manifesting generator again. And I think we kind of covered this a little bit in the last video, but we're just going to go over it again. Manifesting generators are here to be limitless. They are also here to be non-linear, right? So in our society, we have like steps, right? So you go to preschool, you go to kindergarten, you go to elementary school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, you go to college, master's, right? There's a general flow of the way, you know, the steps you want to take to get to a certain place, right? Manifesting generators are not designed to follow the prescribed path. They are meant to kind of go out of order. They're meant to skip steps sometimes, because they're here to show how limitless we're able to become when we allow ourselves to just follow what feels right. So for a manifesting generator, if they're doing something and they suddenly realize, or they get the feeling that they need to be doing something else in that moment because it's going to push them forward, the aligned thing for them to do is then go and do that thing, whether or not they're finished with the thing that was in front of them in the first place or not. Not to say that they can't come back to that thing. You know, a lot of the times they will. But the nature of the manifesting generator, number one, is to follow their sacral responses, and number two is to be nonlinear. But nonlinear doesn't mean that you are easily distracted. It means that the way that you're meant to get to a certain place might look different from the way that society thinks you should get to that certain place, right? So that's the manifesting generator. Now, if you'll follow me to the other side of the board, there's two more things that we want to talk about. And these are specific channels. Okay, so first we have the 2343 channel, which is the channel of revolutionary perspective. This connects the Ajna center to the throat, right? So it's your perspectives, it's your beliefs, it's your opinions being pushed through your Ajna center, being formulated in the Ajna, and then being pushed out through your throat, because all energy wants to be manifested through the throat. So if you have this channel defined in your human design chart, you have a lot going on in your head, okay? At any given time, your brain is going 1,000,000 miles a minute, right? What this channel does is it translates your inner monologue, which is essentially, it's literally like a play going on in your head, like a one-man play, one-woman play in your head all day. This channel translates the inner monologue into applicable guidance that you can then share with others. You're telling people what you know from this inner monologue in your head. So if anyone has seen the anime My Hero Academia, I think it's My Hero Academia. Anyway, the main character's name is Deku. And there will be moments in the show where he'll be talking to someone and they'll say something, and all of a sudden you see him and he's just like, and he's like talking, he's having a whole conversation with himself, like really quiet, and he's just like, okay, like whatever he's saying, he's talking really, really fast to himself and everyone around him is just staring at him like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is wrong with you? That's this channel. It's this inner monologue, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, okay, so this connects here, and this is how it happens, and this happens here, and then we do this, and it's like this, and it's like, okay, I know what to do, right? But you have to go through that process first, because there's so much going on up here, right? So if you're talking to someone, and all of a sudden your inner monologue starts going, it's like, ooh, I gotta, something's happening. I gotta focus. So what's going on here? But to the other person who may or may not have this channel defined, it's like, what the hell just happened? Right? They're staring at you like you're crazy. Because it's like, oh my god, okay, wait. So if this is the way this happens, and this does this, and that does that, oh, so then this happens this way, and this is, oh my god, so then we could just do, and it's like, what? But see, we're not seeing this as a gift. We're seeing this as you being easily distracted, right? I hope that made sense. The last thing we're going to talk about is the 2461 channel, which is the channel of understanding life's mysteries. This is the channel that is searching for truth. It's searching for your truth, right? But see, the thing about this channel is that in order to come to clarity, in order to come to understanding, you need to contemplate things. You need to turn something over and over and around and around and around in your head until it makes sense. This is not a channel where a question comes in and 5 seconds later you pop out with an answer. No, this channel takes its time. This channel wants to know the nuances, the crevices, like the deep, dark secrets of the concept. It doesn't just want the surface level answer. No, it really wants to understand. So it's turning things around, and it's dusting things off, and it's putting it under the microscope. And then once it's gone through this contemplation process, then it spits out an answer. But it's not normally, now, my experience, it's not normally a quick process. So when you are in this constant space of contemplation, this constant space of turning things over and over and over, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you get this clarity, you get this this understanding, you're going to come off as being easily distracted, because you'll go from, contemplating one thing to all of a sudden you have an answer for a question that someone asked you 3 weeks ago, right? And now you're like, I wonder what this is. Oh wait, no, I finally get it. I finally understand. Hey, I have the answer to your question. Right? This is the process, the natural process of this channel. But when you don't understand it, or when the people around you don't understand it, they just think that you're easily distracted, right? So that was a lot. This video was much longer than I thought it was going to be, but I hope that this was helpful. Again, if you are interested in I guess it's a resource library. I'm going to be putting all of this information in there, hopefully within the next few days, but the information that I said in my last video is already uploaded, so you can go and check that out. The link will be in the description box. Again, we are 3 days away from enrollment on the Restful Hustle Academy closing. So if you are interested in getting into that program, achieving your goals for this year, kicking procrastination in the butt, and completely getting rid of your perfectionism, that link will also be in the description box, and I will see you in the next video.